I'm Maureen Craig, doctorally prepared in nursing practice and a mindfulness and yoga teacher, sharing practice with you this evening. In tonight's class, we're going to be focusing on a fun pose called Archer Pose, but really it's about the spine, and we're trying to open up the spine. A lot of times we become a little contracted as we move forward, so we're trying to open up the spine, and we'll do that through some twisting and also through just expanding the spine a little bit and just letting the shoulders drop back. So I thought I would also mention, yes, I did cut my hair. You probably have seen on previous weeks that my hair was a lot longer than this, and I have to tell you a quick story about that. I went to my hairdresser because I had wanted to wait until I could do a hair donation. If you have longer hair, you can donate, as long as it's 10 inches, you can donate it to Locks of Love for children to have wigs made out of. And so it was funny because I was seeing my hairdresser, and when she went to take my hair out of inside of my jacket that I had it, she goes, "Oh my goodness, I didn't intend to find Elsa in here." So I thought that was kind of funny. So anyways, yes, my hair is shorter, and we enjoy every way that our hair is. So let's begin on our backs, and I would like to, this is the first one, is a spine opener as well. So I would like to use 2 blocks. If you have 2 blocks, great. If you don't, another alternative is like a bolster or a pillow, something that is mostly supporting you in the center of the spine. So you might have a bolster, and if you do, great. Otherwise, I like to use the 2 blocks. Your head will go on the top of the top block, and just line them up vertically here so your head lands here and the spine there. So just try that out here as you slowly let yourself down onto that. And so the spine should be supported, and this should allow the shoulders to drift down and open just a bit. Just kind of feel that out. See if your shoulder blades can squeeze the block a little. Lift your arms up overhead. Inhale here, fill the ribs. Exhale, bring the elbows towards the waist. Do that 3 times. Inhale up and exhale down, feeling those shoulders begin to drop open. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, elbows to the ribs. And then just let your arms rest here. And I have my knees bent, but you can choose to let your legs go long or remain bent, knees together, whatever is comfortable for you. Then bring some attention now to the shoulders and letting them drop back towards the mat as the heart is lifted. And focus on your breath. And I am going to share a little poem with you from Dana Falls, who is a yoga teacher and poet. She writes, "Breathe in spaciousness and acceptance of what is. Breathe out resistance." I'm hoping you're breathing with this. Breathe in possibility and optimism. Breathe out fear and doubt. Breathe in ease. Breathe out the need to change the way this moment is unfolding. Breathe in the certainty that what we really are is so much bigger than pain and suffering. Breathe out limitation and conditioning. Breathe in divinity and openness. Breathe out a prayer of thanks that even in the midst of difficulty, there is awareness. Continuing your breath, letting it be just a little fuller, and the exhales a little longer, letting the body be heavy and open, present, receptive. Then turning your attention to your heart as you set an intention for your practice this evening. I always think a mindfulness intention of being present and curious. What am I not noticing? It's a great intention. Finish the cycle of breath you're on and take one more. And then taking your time, find your way over to child's pose. Setting your blocks aside. Let your hips go back towards your heels. Your hands are reaching forward. Letting the hips sink a little bit. Plant the hands and keep the elbows bent as you slowly roll the heart towards the earth and come forward. And then we're going to arch up into cat. So we're going to go between cat and child. So arching up with the spine and then pushing the hips back. Your legs are straight rather than the toes together. Keep the legs straight. Float the heart towards the earth. Come on up. Exhale, arch the back. So another way of thinking of this is I think of like a hamster wheel right underneath my chest, and my heart is going around the hamster wheel. So around, and then push it back towards child, float it forward, and arch the spine up for angry cat. This is a real good workout for the thoracic spine. Arching the back up for angry cat, and then pushing the heart down towards the earth as you float through. And doing this a couple more times, finishing the cycle you're on and taking one more. And then coming up onto all fours, a little standard cat and cow. And then we're going to take our hips off to the right of the heels and set the hips down. This is called fawn pose. So bring your hands around to the right, lengthen up the spine, keep the right hand planted, and then sweep that left hand around till it lands behind you on the left. Lift through the heart. And now energize that right hand, pushing through that as you squeeze the glutes and lift up through the left hand. Big breath and release. Bring the hands down, come back up onto your knees, and we're going to take it on the other side. So bringing your hips down to the left of your heels, the hands out to the left, and then keep that spine nice and tall, and then sweep that right hand around so it's behind the heels on the right. Lift up through the heart and with the gaze. Then energize that left hand down and reach up with that right hand. Squeeze the glutes. Big breath and release down. Bring the hands back into a tabletop. Taking one of your blocks, place it between the heels and sit on the block. We're going to take a little motion here. So feel the energy in your spine lengthening up through the crown. Plant your left hand. Let's actually start by taking the right hand over the top of the head and putting it just above the ears on the left. Press the hand into the head into the hand, and lengthen the side of the neck. Taking a breath here or two, and then softening, slowly release rather than quickly. And then tapping that trapezius muscle there on the left. Tap, 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 and come down all the way down that arm, signaling to let go in that arm. Now we'll take it on the other side. So reach up over the head, right over the top of the ears. Press the fingertips into the head into the hand. Lengthen that right shoulder down. Breathe. And gently releasing, and then tapping the right trapezius muscle and down that arm, letting go, letting go. And we'll take a few side bends. So drop that right hand down, sweep the the left hand down. Bring the right hand up and over the top of the body, all the way over to the left. Keeping in a plane here. Exhale, bring the elbow down to the ribs, even as your spine is leaning over to the left. So inhale up, fill the ribs with breath. Exhale, bring that elbow to the ribs. Inhale, spread the ribs, leaning the arm over the top of you. And exhale, bring the elbow to the ribs. One more time, up and over. And exhale. This time as you come up and over, roll the heart towards the earth. Roll the heart towards the sky. And release. Coming on over to the other side, plant the right hand down. Left arm reaches up and over the ear. And really spread the ribs here, and then exhale, bring the elbow down even as you stay in the side bend. Inhale, spread the ribs. Exhale, elbow in. Inhale up. And again, exhale. Inhale up. Roll the heart towards the floor. Inhale, heart towards the sky. And release. Very good. Okay, now we'll come on forward. Plant our hands a little bit forward of our table. Tuck the toes and float the knees just a bit as we push our hips back and come on up into our downward facing dog. And pedal the heels just a little bit there. Inhale, float forward to a plank. Rock back and forth. Exhale, push up to downward facing dog. Getting used to our dog tonight. Let the hips come a little bit left and right. And then step your feet a half step forward and let the toes curl over the edge of the mat. Bring your right hand to the outside of the left leg, the left hand up on the hip. Bend the right knee, turn the heart towards the knee, the left knee. And then softly switch to the other side. The left knee bends, the right knee straightens. The left hand is on the outside of the right leg, and the right hand is on the hip. Draw the heart towards that knee. And release. Then straighten out the toes into your mountain posture. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep your hands behind you, squeeze your glutes. Lift the hands all the way up and release. Okay, we're in our standing posture, getting a little bit of our warm up. So tonight we're going to take a few flows through Sari Namaskara C, followed by our archer flow. So come to the top of your mat, find your mountain posture. Feel the weight settling in your heels. And just take a moment to arrive there, stacking the joints and breathing. Inhale, let those arms rise up. Exhale, strong back, floating down. As you take each of these moves, try to make it with intention. Surrendering to these postures, a half lift now. Drawing the shoulder blades down, lengthen through the spine. Let the inner thighs spin a bit to the back wall. Exhale and fold. We'll step back on the right side, untuck the toes, and come on up into our modified warrior one. And then bring your hands alongside here. We want to do the resistance stretching. So you may want to move your back knee just a little further back. We want to have that shin pressing into that mat, and we want the front heel gripping back on the mat. So let the hips sink a little bit low as you draw the left heel towards the right knee, like they're coming together, like you're running. Exhale as you go into the depth of the stretch. You're opening up the psoas. This is a powerful move for really expanding the length of the psoas and opening the hip flexor a bit. One more time. Then we're going to draw our hip back on the left, coming into our hurdler stretch. So support yourself with your hands and then draw that left hip back. And then I like to just move my toes a little bit left and right and feel out that stretch on the back of that left leg. Now we're going to sink a little bit deeper into this stretch. So let that left foot land, let the hips sink, and then use that energy as you're grounding down into the earth. Let it rise your hands up. Feel the power in that. Pushing up from the base of your pose through the fingertips. And then exhale, we'll plant the hands, framing the foot, tuck the back toes, and now try and sweep that left foot all the way up, three-legged dog, as high as you can, and then stack the hips in a fire hydrant. So we went from a lunge all the way to fire hydrant. Floating forward, three-legged plank, bring the left knee down to the mat, and take and step the right foot forward between the hands. Okay, come on up into that modified warrior one on this side. Then bring the left hand onto the right knee and slowly sweep that right hand back. Follow it with your gaze if that's comfortable for you. Taking a spinal twist. Inhale back up. Exhale, frame the foot. Tuck the back toes, step to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep it up and release. Okay, one flow down. Let's try it on the other side. Hope that's comfortable for you. I'll switch sides on the mat here. Finding your mountain. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, floating down. Inhale, a half lift. Exhale, fold and step back on the left, letting the left knee down, untucking the toes. Now we're going to let those hips sink a little. And again, that resistive stretch. So that back shin is pressing into the mat and the right heel is drawing back, opening up that psoas on the left. Can you feel that a little? Okay, then we'll bring our hands down and draw that right hip back for a hurdler stretch on this side, getting a bit of a stretch on the back of the right leg. Walk the hands forward and rise the hands up. Let them raise up to the sky. The hips sink a little. Feel the power in the base of your pose, creating the energy to rise up. Exhale, frame the foot and sweep that front leg all the way back and up. Stack the hips, fire hydrant. Circles with the ankle, and then float forward to your plank, bringing that right knee down and stepping the left foot forward between the hands. We'll take the modified warrior one on this side. And then the right hand comes to the knee. Sweep the left hand open into that twist. Inhale back up. Exhale, frame the foot. Tuck the back toes. Come to your forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep it up and release. Great. Okay, so now we'll move into our next flow, and this is the one where we're going to use archer. So I wanted to just show you how we're moving from Krishnan asana to archer. So bringing one foot across the front of the other so that you're on the ball of the foot. That's how we're starting. So it's a little bit of a balanced posture in this case. And then we're going to create this, your thumb comes to your middle and fourth finger, and your pinky and your index finger are pointed up, and you bring them over to the side that the foot is on like a flute. Okay, so we're like a goddess playing a flute. Okay, we start there, and then we open the hands and lift the knee, And then we step back as we reach forward, and then we come into archer. Okay, let's practice this on our mat, coming to the top of your mat. We'll take the right foot over the front of the left foot. So you're resting on the ball of the right foot. Hold a focus point to help stabilize you a bit. And we're going to bring the flute over to the left. So index fingers up and off to the left. Okay, then open the hands, lift the knee. Exhale, reach those hands forward as you step back for your lunge. And now we're going to drop the right heel and draw our archer pose. Okay, so you've got one lane of traffic happening on the base of your posture, and then feel the energy of the spine. Sometimes the spine wants to lean forward. Draw it back. So press your hand into your head and draw your spine back, and lift the elbow, because the elbow sometimes likes to sink down. So lift it up. Feel your archer. Keep that front knee right over the ankle. Draw the back kneecap up. 3 breaths here. Then begin to straighten that front knee and raise the archer to the sky. So you're aiming for the sky here. Keep the back leg strong. Then open the arms out, and we're going to tip over into Trikonasana, or triangle posture. And what I'm going to say is, if you have a block nearby, this is a great time to use that block on the outside of that right ankle. As you come over into triangle, instead of bringing your hand to the inside of the left leg, you can definitely do that, but you can also place the hand on the outside of the right ankle. You can place it in the number 2 position, or the number 3 position, or the number 1 position, whatever works for you. Find your Trikonasana posture. Keep that left hip drawn back. Energize the stacked arms, and 3 breaths. And then set the block aside. Float back to warrior 2. Windmill your arms. And step back for your plank. Taking your flow here, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, the heart comes up for cobra. Strong back. Exhale, come all the way to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right foot up. Bend the knee, stack the hips. Exhale, bring that right foot forward between the hands. Leave the left hand down and take our dragonfly twist. Exhale, bring that hand down and step to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold and sweep it up and release. Okay, how did you do on that? Hopefully you had a little fun with that archer pose, and let's take it on the other side. So finding your mountain posture, this time we'll bring our left foot in front of the right, and we'll keep that focus point in front of us, and the flute player is off to the right. Taking a breath here. And now inhale and lift the knee, open the arms, cactus arms. Exhale, step it back into that lunge, a nice deep lunge. Then drop the back heel and draw your archer. Okay, so remember to pull the back of the head, not pull it, but press it back so your spine is long. Keep that back elbow up. Taking a couple breaths here, 3 breaths. Pulling the back elbow back as the right hand is reaching forward. Keeping those arms energized. Sink the hips and then straighten and pull that right hip back and aim yourself, your archer, to the sky. 3 breaths. Straighten the arms out and slowly tip on over into Trikonasana, taking a block on the outside of that ankle if you wish to take triangle in this position. Find what works for you. Always curious about how this pose fits with our body in this moment. 2 or 3 breaths here in Trikonasana. You notice we're practicing indoors tonight. It's gotten a little cooler tonight, so we're enjoying the cool weather. Setting your block aside, float on up, warrior 2, 3 breaths. Or windmill the arms to the mat, step back for your plank, and take a flow here, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keep your elbows in as you come down. Inhale, roll the heart up. Exhale, meet me in down dog. Inhale the left foot up, bring it between the hands. Take your dragonfly twist here. And on the exhale, step to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep it up and release. A little letting go if you're having any tension building anywhere in the muscles. And now we'll move on to our next flow, finding your mountain. We'll just take another warm up, and then we'll do another one with warrior 2 poses. Find your mountain, find your breath. Float the arms. Exhale, fold. And lift. And fold, step back on the right. Take your runner's lunge twist or dragonfly twist. Let the feet spread, the hips lower. Hand comes down, step back to plank. And take a flow, just warming the body here. Inhale your cobra, squeeze the glutes, lift the heart. Exhale to down dog. Inhale the right foot up, bend the knees, stack the hips. And then sweep that right knee behind the wrist. Always great to take a pigeon, helps us really open up the hips. Keep the ankle flexed as you bring the shin forward. I like to have a hand underneath, a block underneath my right hand. And just breathe into your pigeon here, feeling that stretch in the outer right hip. The knee should be fully comfortable. The stretch is actually in the outer part of the hip here. Breathing with that. One more breath. Slide the shin back a little. Set your block aside. Frame your hands. Tuck the back toes. Right foot back to the sky. Give it a shake out. Exhale, bring it forward. Runner's lunge. Let the hips sink just a bit. Take a breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep it up, tall mountain. Hands to heart. Beautiful. I love the warm-up flows. They're so effective. We'll take that on the other side. Float those hands up, strong back, and slowly floating down. Inhale, half lift. And fold, stepping back on the right. Sorry, we did that side already. Step back on the left. There we go. We're taking our dragonfly twist on this side. So keeping those feet in place, plant the left hand down and the right hand goes to the sky. Then bring the right hand down and step back for your plank. Take your flow here, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, down dog. Now inhale the left foot up, bend the knees and stack the hips. Exhale the left knee behind the wrist. option to use a block underneath the hand as you slide the shin forward. Keep that ankle flexed and then allow that stretch to happen in the outer right hip. You can tuck the back toes just to give you a little room to work in that stretch on that left hip. Breathing with it, 2 or 3 breaths. Slide the shin back, set your block aside. Return to 3-legged dog, shake that foot out. Exhale, step the left foot forward between the hands. Hips sink just a moment. Take a breath. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep it up and release. Okay, how are you doing? Hopefully you're feeling well and enjoying this practice. And so it's always important, a reminder to please listen to your own body, your own experience. This practice is for you. My words are just suggestions. See how it fits in your body tonight. Please do honor how your body is feeling and make adjustments so that you feel comfortable in the practice. All right, we'll take another flow now, this with our Warrior Two poses. We'll start in a chair. Find your mountain. Reach a little behind you, soften your knees and your hips, float the arms up, come into Utkatasana or chair pose. 2 or 3 breaths here. Keep pushing the heels apart. Exhale and fold. Inhale, a half lift, lengthen out the spine. Exhale and fold, stepping out to your plank. And now is an option to take chaturanga, high to low push up, float up to up dog, and tuck the toes, meet me in down dog. Flows are always optional. You can just push to down dog. Inhale the left foot up. Exhale, bring it between the hands. Drop the back heel and then windmill that right arm up, coming to your Warrior Two. One of our classic yoga poses. Check in with that front knee so it just stays steady right over the ankle. Sometimes one side of the muscle of the quad is a little stronger than the other and the knee drifts in or out. We'd like to keep that right centered over the ankle. Let your hips sink a little bit. You can just come in and out of that pose, finding where is the right volume of that posture for you, breathing. Float that hand up, come to a reverse warrior or a peaceful warrior. Two or three breaths here. And then straighten the front knee. Exhale, tip over to your triangle. We've been here before, but we used a block before. So see what works for you now. Stacking the shoulders and breathing. Breath in the low belly, strong in the core. And gently floating back to Warrior Two. Windmill that back arm all the way over onto the mat. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Taking a flow here, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Lifting to up dog or cobra. And meeting me in down dog. Take a breath or two in down dog. Then lift the right foot up. Exhale, bring it forward between the hands. Drop the back foot down, toes out to 9 o'clock, and sweep up to your Warrior Two. Check in with that front knee, making sure it's steady. Lift and sink the hips so you feel confident in your Warrior Two. being a warrior of self-compassion, kindness, doing no harm. It takes a lot of courage to be that kind of person. But that's what yoga encourages us to do. Flip the front hand over and come to our peaceful warrior. Breathing. Feel that breath in the low belly. Using the exhales to strengthen. Straighten that front knee. Exhale, tip on over, Trikonasana. Repositioning the feet if that feels good for you. Keep a micro bend in the front knee, keeping it safe. Slowly returning to our warrior two. Let the shoulders soften. Fingertips reaching. And then slowly windmill the left hand to the mat. And step back for your plank here. Taking or skipping flow. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. High to low push-up. Coming to cobra or up dog. Tuck the toes and land in down dog. Hang out in down dog for 3 to 5 breaths. Let the fingers spread. The weight of the body is in the heel or in the feet as much as possible, but on the hands you want to have it on the thumb and the first finger rather than the wrist. Spread the fingers and breathe. To sink your chest towards your thighs. Feel free to bend the thighs if that's helpful, or bring yourself down to child's pose. Looking between the thumbs. On the next exhale, step to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Soften the knees and hips as you reach behind you. Sweeping up to Utkatasana, chair posture. Breathing. One more breath. Lower the hips and splash it out. Very good. Oh, that's a good warm-up, isn't it? Feel free to take any spinal twists there, releasing the spine a bit. And then let's widen out our stance on the side of the mat, letting your heels be out a little bit further than your toes. Press your hands on the front of the thighs. You're going to lengthen out the back of the legs, so really give them a good press on those femur bones. Let that tailbone begin to rise as you float the heart down towards the earth. Coming into a bit of inversion, your hands land underneath your gaze. Continuing to think of the back of the legs getting longer as the tailbone lifts. And then walk both hands over to the left ankle. Take your block with it. Turn the toes to the short edge of the mat and take a side lunge, increasing a little stretch on the inner thigh on the right leg. And then gently lifting the hips. We'll walk over to the other side. So left toes towards the mat, right toes towards the short edge of the mat. Come into a side lunge on this side. Supported by the block, it makes it a little easier to sink into the lunge. Just breathing with it, always surfing your lunge, your stretch, but backing away from pain. Lift the hips, come back to the center, set your block aside. And let the heels be out wide again. And this time walk both hands over to the left ankle. Soften the knee, draw the heart towards the knee. Left hand on the left hip. Feeling that stretch more intensely on the back of that leg. And slowly walk the rainbow over to the right foot. Same moves on this side. Left hand on the right ankle, right hand on the hip. And draw your heart towards the knee that is slightly softened. And breathing with that twist. Feeling the back of that right leg and get more intense in its stretch, but always backing away from any pain. Walk both hands to the top of your mat. Step the feet back into your plank. Holding plank here. 3 breaths. Now, if this gets to be too intense for you, please do bring your knees down. Honor your shoulders, honor your hands. Option to float 1 foot and push up to 3-legged dog. Slowly float it back down to plank. And then take the other foot, float to 3-legged plank, push to 3-legged dog. Return to plank. 3 more breaths in plank. Let the knees down. Press the hips back. Forehead touches the mat if that's available to you. Take a cleansing breath. And then slowly work your way back to your plank. We want to take a side plank. So step the feet a little bit apart. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Float both heels down to one side. Lift the hands into that side plank. 3 breaths. And then gently float it over to the other side. Heels drop. The right arm lifts. 3 breaths. Hand comes down back to your plank. Bring the knees down and walk them forward between the hands. And then we're going to come on down onto our hips and draw ourselves back into a little work on the front side. So traction your feet on the mat. Lift the heart up. Reach the hands forward. We're going to slowly push the spine, push the small of the back towards the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Unwinding the spine. Reach the hands up overhead. And exhale. See if you can roll it back up, tuck, and possibly grab your thighs to roll yourself back up. Okay, that's a little bit intense, but it gets better with practice, right? So we'll do this a couple more times. Reach your hands forward. Stick the small of the back, traction your feet, and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time, as slow as you can. Pressing that spine onto the mat. And reach the arms back. Tuck the chin and roll it up. Reaching forward and then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Last time down, you can do it as slow as you can. And down we come. Okay, bring your heels behind the glutes. We're going to take a bridge here. Take one of your blocks, place it right between the knees. Squeeze the block so that your knees are engaged there, the muscles. Weight in the heels. Now find the belly and push it into the mat so that small of the back is connecting with the back of the mat. Arms are resting alongside the sides of the body. And begin to slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, engage the back body and come up into your bridge. Breathing here, tractioning the heels and the shoulders away from each other. Squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. Squeeze the knees. Don't let anybody take your block. Engage the pelvic floor. 3 breaths. 2 more. 1 more. Now draw your tailbone towards your heels and slowly unwind that spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. As you roll the spine down, come all the way down, cleansing breath. take the block out, set it aside. We'll roll up one more time, slowly and intensely, all the way back up into your bridge. Tuck your shoulders under a little bit. Your fingertips may brush your heels. Breathing here. Engage the pelvic floor. Now let the tailbone soften down a little bit and then exhale, squeeze it up. We'll pulse it up for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Slowly unwind the spine. Draw the knees in towards the chest and put some circles on your back, unwinding the spine and letting go of that tension in the back. You can have both legs going in the same direction, or you can have them in countercurrent circles. See what works better for you. Slide your hands down to the shins. Let the knees fall apart as you rock right and left, catching yourself with your elbow on either side. Slowly rocking to stillness. Reach between the legs for the peace fingers around the big toes or ankles. Coming into happy baby. Finding all 4 corners of the back on the mat. It's fine to hold on to the toes or the ankles or the shins, whatever is available to you, even your knees. And then slowly letting the heels land. And bridge up enough to slide your block underneath the sacrum. We'll take a legs up the wall pose. That always feels so restorative. Once your sacrum is stable, let the knees float in and the heels up. And then just check in with yourself. Can you let go on your shoulders and your arms a little? Do your toes want to curl or spread? Your ankles have circles. Your knees drift apart. Take a bit of an inner thigh stretch. Whatever works for your legs. We think of our heart as being the pump in the body, but really the legs are the biggest pump. So it's important to use them and let that mobility really move the fluids and the nutrients and the waste in our bodies, moving it on through. When you're ready, let the heels come back together. Knees into the chest for a gentle hug. Keep the left knee in, let the right heel go long. Drift that right heel towards the earth, opening that right hip flexor. Walk your hands up the back of the left leg. And just get a good stretch there in that left leg, hamstring. And then switching sides. The left leg goes long and the right leg comes up. Pausing here as long as it feels good for you. No particular way that posture has to be taken. Just enjoy the stretch. And then bring your soles of your feet together. Let the knees come apart a bit. And rock the hips a little bit left and right. So you reach the knees for the corners of the room. Elbows can be in cactus, finding that floating goddess. Bring the knees back together, put a little weight into the heels as you lift the block out from underneath you. And unwind into your Shavasana pose. Arms and legs a little away from the center of the body. Feeling that weight of the body coming down onto the mat. the heaviness. Take a nice breath in. And on the exhale, start to grow heavier, starting to rearrange any limb or part of the body that wants to rest a little more. And surrendering the weight of the body to the earth. Feeling the forehead grow soft and the eyebrows drift away from each other. No tension. And the eyes soft. Receptive. Softness in the face. Unhinge the jaw. Let the lower jaw move a little left and right. The tongue become thick in the mouth. Letting go all the way to the root of the tongue. Feeling a softening in the throat. The shoulders heavy. The left shoulder heavy, soft, warm through the bicep to the elbow. The left wrist and hand. The right shoulder, letting go through the bicep, the elbow, and the forearm and wrist and hand on the right. Both arms now yielding, surrendering. Take a little fuller breath in, and as you're exhaling, letting the torso grow heavy. Feeling the back body on the earth. The pelvic bowl heavy. Resting. Both legs long and heavy. Resting now with your attention on your breath. Feel the coolness of the breath softly entering the body and releasing. Receptive to the in-breath, releasing the out-breath. Resting here. If the mind has drifted away, gently bring it back to the breath and the body. Enjoying stillness or beginning to find a little movement in the body. Take a moment to revisit your intention for practice. And if you met your aim, a bit of gratitude. And if you didn't, just a moment of gratitude for waking up to that and seeing how easy it is to have the distractions occur. Compassion for yourself. As you bring yourself back towards your intention, lengthening out in a bit of a stretch, and drawing the knees in for a bit of a hug, comforting the low back. And then taking your time, finding a seated posture, and we'll close our practice together. Bringing your hands in front of your heart. Thank you for sharing practice in our small and precious community. Really appreciate your presence and your attention to this practice in your life. I hope you take a bit of peace into your week. Om Shanti. Namaste. Thank you so much, friends, for spending practice with me.